Hey, welcome back, multifamily investors. I hope you're having a wonderful Monday. I'm checking the last week's sales in multifamily, my 5 counties that I watch, and we have 11 deals worth noting here, ranging, of course, between the low fours, usually for duplex, up to 3 million for a larger apartment building in the Seattle area, Finney Ave. So I will dive into these, and I will tell you that actually most of these duplexes did go FHA or conventional, but I saw more FHA this time than normal. So that indicates a lot of house hacking, owner-occupied investors. Nothing too new. So this one here was listed for $440, sold for $435. It's kind of a fixer in Bremerton. That's a good price for two bed units, almost 900 square feet. The rents are super low, but see, that's why somebody's going to get in there and probably live one side and just make it worthwhile to them. But you can barely buy a house for $435, so it's pretty amazing. A good house, a decent house. So another one in Bremerton. This one was listed for $560, sold for $500. 2-story, 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath. Really good unit mix there of the size. I mean, the 1248. One was 1,800 and one's 1,700. I believe that. I'm saying it's a 6.5 cap. Not sure about that, but for the most part, that's a pretty solid pickup for $500,000 out there in Bremerton. This one in South Tacoma was listed for $560, sold for $565. I think that was another FHA one. They were both 2-bed, 1-bath, 800 square feet. Then we had this one in Sumner. Sumner is a great little town, just the north end of Pierce County. And it was a 1963 Rambler. It was on sewer, 2-bed. They were 740 square feet. Listed for $540, sold for over asking $567 and some change. That's a good agent right there. Probably used an escalation clause and didn't use round numbers, and they won like that. This one in Seattle, I was watching for another client who was kind of interested in. We were hoping it may sit and would go closer to 6, but it ended up going for 10 over asking, and it had a 2-bed and a small 1-bed. Gig Harbor, this is about what we see for these traditional 70s, 80s Rambler style duplexes, 2-bed. These actually had 1.5 bath instead of just 1 bath, which is more ideal, obviously, and can command a little bit better rents. But look how long term that tenant had been there, paying $800 a month. I mean, you got to be kidding me. But $675 is about the going rate for these, so it's not a bad deal, not a fantastic deal, and it's just very competitive with the market for Gig Harbor. This one was in Renton. This was an FHA buyer, I believe, too. Listed for $735, sold for $745. And it has an upper bigger unit that's a 3-2, and then a downstairs, I think, unit it was a 2-bed, 1943 brick construction. This is another nice one, Shoreline, that I had a client that was interested in this one. Just couldn't get the numbers to work. I mean, it's just tough. They were 2-bed, 1.5 baths, 1,000 square feet, $2,000 each aside. This was a long-time owner. Of course, that's why they sit under market, and we just could not get it to pencil at 8. And I didn't think it would actually go that low. And would have preferred to get it closer to 750 or less, of course, but it is what it is. It was a nice-looking property in Richmond Beach Shoreline area, so for $787. Another one in Sumner. So we don't actually see a lot coming from Sumner, but here's two, in the same week. This was an old fourplex, again, owned forever by mom and pop. Look at these rents. 2-bed, $625. Cap produced here 1.3. So you're wondering, how do these pencil? Everyone's asking me, Brandon, how do we pencil? Why are these prices not reflective of the rates? Well, you've got sellers who owe little to no debt on these properties, and they are fine at 900, 770, having one sit vacant and one at 625 because they're still cash flowing, as hard as that is to believe. And so they don't like turnover. They don't do a lot of, a good CapEx, preventative maintenance. So these are going to be, I'll just click on this one for an example. It's going to have a lot of deferred maintenance usually on these properties. It said we had garages too, which was nice. They were pretty beat up, but good parking, not a lot of pictures inside. But it's safe to assume in 1968, getting those rents, they're probably very dated, probably very worn. But the upside on this deal, if you can stomach to ride out the upside and on this value add and improve it, get the units turned, get the rents to market. This is a great opportunity. This is a 4-unit in the Stadium District. I mean, they tried for 1.1, ended up selling for 925. I thought that was probably pretty rich for this, considering 2 of them are really small studios, 336 square feet, 455. Not a lot of good financial information available, but I knew that price was too much, or $1 million was going to be tough. And then here's the one. This was a 1031, probably all cash. That's why you see that. I see even $3 million there, and he probably came in, made it pretty clear, transparent offer. But I mean, it was advertised at a 477 cap. See, and again, when you're looking at financing at 6 3/4, and you're buying on a 4 3/4, you're negative 2% delta there. So that's very, very challenging to make work unless you pay cash. And that's what a lot of these 1031 people are doing. They're paying cash, and they will just take their nice 477 and let it appreciate and maybe pull out cash down the road when rates go back under 6% and buy more property. All right, there you have it. 11 investors pulling the trigger one way or another, making acquisitions. And again, I consider house hackers, they're investors too. I think it's great that these people run out and buy something that will produce income down the road versus just a single family house with a big yard and basically a liability. If you ever read Rich Dad Poor Dad, we know single family, our houses are not assets. The banks call them assets, but they're really a liability. So if I could do it all over again in my 20s, I would go back and I would buy a duplex and not a house or a condo, and live on one side and rent out the other, and rinse and repeat and rinse and repeat. So there you have it. Thank you for watching.